What happened was...
Hey friends, it's so nice to see you. It's today, the time is now. You are here and the weather is outside your window.
Currently making her main stage debut in the triumphant sold-out run of Das Rheingold at Dallas Opera, please welcome Lindsay Kate Brown to the show. Hello. How you
How are
doing? I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Enjoying my day off and getting ready for our show tomorrow. So
And
solid.
you're in Dallas right now.
I'm in Dallas in my little bungalow apartment and just ready for Rheingold number 3.
And how's it been going?
It's been honestly amazing. The cast is stellar. The team, the creative team behind it is amazing. Everybody from the crew to costumes to sets just is really on top of their game, and it just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. Yeah.
No, of course. It's such a stunning opera to be a part of, and to be around that music is just so magical. And you play...
I am Velgunda. This is my first official Wagner role.
That's a major thing.
Yeah.
Are you in the club now? You want to continue on with Wagner?
Oh yeah, give me it all. Give me,
Yeah.
I mean, well, within reason. Although I feel like it would be kind of cool to do like gender bent version. I'd play Wotan. Why not?
It would be an incredible Wotan.
It would be fun.
I would pay money to see that for sure.
Absolutely. You can be my Fricka. I would take that in a heartbeat.
I'll do it. I'm in. Sign me up.
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, this is not your first show at Dallas Opera, so tell us about your relationship with Dallas Opera, when it started, and all you've done.
Absolutely. So this is technically my main stage debut with Dallas Opera, but my first thing that I did with them was last season. I covered 3 of the roles in Jonathan Dove's Flight.
Right.
Minsk woman, older woman, and stewardess. And then did the Heart Institute a couple weeks back for women conductors, and then now making my official debut as Velgunda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and of course I was in Flight, so I was there with you, and it was a bit of a reunion for us because we met in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a hot minute.
Just a few.
That was Risalta?
Yeah, that was 2018. Yeah.
I remember that. That feels like forever ago, doesn't it?
It's forever and a pandemic ago. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, true.
So something I learned about you just in the last 5 minutes is that you are also a conductor. So please introduce yourself to me as a conductor.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Lindsay Kate Brown. I also am a conductor. I made my conducting debut in December at 2 regional opera houses in upstate New York, both Syracuse Opera and Tri-Cities Opera in Binghamton, New York.
Wow.
Yeah, I did their version of The Mall and the Night Visitors by Menotti, and it was both supremely terrifying because I've never been in that type of position of leadership.
Of course.
But also really amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And you and I have spoken about this in lifetimes prior about how there's a lot of barriers in what we do and in opera, and I just am trying to break them down. And so why not be a singer and a conductor?
Yeah, you actually can be, and that's exciting. And it's funny you say that, because my first impulse, as an interviewer, was to say, well, which do you prefer, conducting or singing?
Yeah.
And I scrubbed that immediately from my mind, because you actually can do both, and you don't have to prefer one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that is a hallmark of specifically our generation of artists, and it's a really cool thing to break those barriers down, as you're doing
Yeah.
so well.
Well,
So,
and you do so many things. Like
well,
I think about that, and it's like, I
yeah.
mean, that's what we want to be doing, right? I love to sing
Yeah,
so much,
yeah,
but there are so many other things that I can do and I want to do. So
yeah.
why not do them?
And you can, and that's okay, and that's like
Yeah.
important to be an example of that for
Yeah.
sure. It's really important. So, yeah, amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, I had no idea we were going to be talking about conducting as well as singing today. And
Yeah, anything you want to talk about, I'm always game to talk about it,
well, I want to talk about United in Opera, an organization you started.
Sure. So
What is
mid,
it?
yeah, absolutely. Mid-pandemic, I, was in Houston and, was very lucky. I was one of the few people who still had things to do during the pandemic at the beginning. I was working as a studio artist at HGO, Houston Grand Opera, and I have been so fortunate to have had so many wonderful people from our industry come into my life in ways and shapes and forms that I never thought possible. And I just felt like it was my mission to share that information.
Mm,
I came from a small town in the middle of nowhere. I went to two state schools for undergrad and grad school. My first, like, quote unquote, mainstream school was Rice, where I did an artist diploma. And I somehow have found my way here.
mm,
All of these unexpected places and with the help of so many wonderful people. And so I started United in Opera as a way to share the resources and the information that I had learned.
mm.
And we've grown to, oh gosh, between all of our platforms, we probably have about 3,000 people that kind of like share our information and utilize it. We've done collaborations with several opera companies. We just did a giveaway with San Francisco Opera. We've interviewed lots of people from the industry. One of my first interviews was Lisa Oropesa, which is
Wow.
wild.
Yeah,
And yeah, we're just trying to make information more accessible to everyone in the opera industry, regardless of what they do.
as it should be. Yeah, yeah. Opera is interesting because there is a bit of a mystery and a cloak and dagger nature to the business that doesn't exist in other genres, and yeah, revealing that information and making it accessible is very important.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I'm grateful to have had so many people in my life who have been willing to give me that information.
yeah,
So I felt like it was only necessary and like a must have to do it for other people.
right.
So
Well, and of course, you're now working at one of the best opera companies in the country, Dallas Opera. So what, besides making your main stage debut, covering several roles in Flight, which is astounding given the complexity of that score, what all have you learned working at Dallas Opera?
oh, so many things. So I think one of the best things I learned was actually from Maestro Viom. He and I had a discussion at the beginning of the Wagner process, and he was like, Lindsay, you just have to sing with your voice and where you are now and not expect it to sound like you're going to sound in 15 years,
Mm,
not expect it to sound like what you're going to sound like in 20 years. Just sing with the voice that you have and it will work.
mm,
And that was something really inspiring that I learned from him. Uh, Ian Darrer is always in my corner and is always like helping me brainstorm things. And like, I'm like, what about this show? What about this role? And he's like, yeah, that could work. And so that's been really helpful. David, when he comes in and out, he always has amazing things to say. And so I'm just grateful for the whole team that's here.
yeah, no, it's a phenomenal team and it's such a great place to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next? Like not necessarily on your schedule, but like what are your big dreams? What do you dream of doing with your versatile career?
Oof. I just want to help people, I think.
Hmm.
Like, I just want to bring people together with music. And so whether that's from the podium or through an organization or through my voice or doing, I don't know, master classes and like whatever, I think I just want to impact the world because I think people look at opera as this like high and mighty art.
Yeah.
And it can be in some ways, but
Mhm.
when you boil it down, it's all about like human emotion and
Mm.
connecting to other people.
Yeah.
And I want to show more people that.
Yeah.
And so that's my big dream. I'd love to split my time between singing and conducting and working with young artists and things like that. And just doing all the stuff.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, it's as we know, the arts have a great way of building community, and that's community is very important.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
wouldn't have met you if I hadn't have done a show with you.
I know. Well, you talked to me, which was very kind. So that's
You know, that seems like a prerequisite. I actually was just talking to a young artist about this today, about making meaningful connections, and like whether that's with another colleague on stage or somebody off stage or a patron of the opera. It's so important to just like be a human.
yeah, it really is.
That's something
It
we
really
forget
is.
about sometimes.
It is. And well, also, we have some challenges, right? We have the digital age, which has put
Yep.
us all communicating through screens. We also have a pandemic where we didn't see people regularly.
Yep.
So yeah, I find it's communication is a little wonky right now. I was recently doing a master class actually, and the first day I was at this institution, like no one
Yeah.
made eye contact with me or talk to me, and I was like, oh God, they hate me.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the next
Awesome.
day, everybody was, communicating, but it just reminded me that our comfort zones have shifted,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and greeting people is not necessarily the norm anymore. We're all kind of insular.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So thank you for
Awesome.
talking to me in
Oh my
2018.
gosh. I will say in my case, always come up and talk to me.
Yeah.
Like always. I'm always happy to learn about your life and to answer questions and to,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
I'm
definitely.
young, but I like know some stuff. So
Yeah. No,
I'm
it's
always
fun.
happy to talk.
Right. And it's what connects us is the shared experience of what we're doing. And we're all just trying to tell a story, connect with people, build community. Right. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's
that
all
can
we can
start.
do.
Yeah. And that can start in the rehearsal room before we have an audience to connect to. We can connect with each other. So,
100%. Our cast here, so for anybody who doesn't necessarily know Rheingold, uh my scene with the two other Rhine maidens in Alberich, that's that's our thing. That's our little chunk of the
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I don't have one interaction with Wotan, with Freya, with Fricka, with the giants, nobody.
Yeah.
And so it was like 2 weeks into the production that I finally saw most of them.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, you're in this show. Weird. And but regardless of that, once we all got to see each other, there was such a community that we had made amongst
Right.
all of us that
Right.
like I just had dinner with Karen Slack, who's playing Freya. I had dinner with her yesterday and like got to just talk about life, and that community aspect is so important. And
Yeah.
it starts in the rehearsal room.
Yeah. Well, and she's such a great leader in our community. So that's
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely one to maintain relationships with. She's really fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. I did a Rheingold, and I was Fafner, and similarly I was like, who I don't talk to anybody in this thing,
Yeah, you're like, who else is in the show? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Anyone? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like we we
yeah.
did our scene on opening night, and we're like running off the stage at the end of the scene so they can switch the set. And I literally looked at one of my other Rhine maidens. I was like, our job is so weird.
Yes. Yes, it
And
is.
then like we go off, and Wotan and Fricka are waiting to make their entrance.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, how you
Hi,
doing?
you're it. Yeah.
Go have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Though it's the very short show for Wagner, but in that there's
Yeah.
no intermission, you have a lot of backstage time, so that's where you can have a lot of fun. It's awesome.
Absolutely. The Rhine maidens and I, the other Rhine maidens and I, have this like ritual where we'll go back upstairs, collect our lives, and then we play board games or
fun.
like card games.
Yeah.
And so that's been what we've been doing while the rest of the show is happening. And then when there's specific parts that we really really like, we'll pause, look at the backstage TV, and then go back to our game. And then like people who aren't in those scenes will like Mima will come back and play with us, or like the giants after their big scene, they'll come back and play. And so it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you some fun questions?
Anything.
Okay. Zodiac sign.
I'm a Sagittarius, but I am like 2 days like into Sagittarius. I'm the 24th of November. So I have some Scorpio things, but some Sagittarius things.
I'm a Sagittarius, so we're just gonna claim you as one of us.
Love it. Take me.
Yeah, you're right. You don't want to be a Scorpio. Okay. Where were you born?
Born in upstate New York in a small town called Waterloo, New York. Lots of wine, lots of cows.
Sounds great. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. I used to be tea, but now I have a small like affinity for coffee, and I like to make it and go to fun coffee shops whenever I go to a new city.
Amen. Yeah, coffee is it. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Like
Upstate New York girl. This is really intense question.
no, this is like a legitimate thing because there's so many like people have very specific ideas of what flavors are good up there. I like peanut butter based things.
Sure.
So, but like peanut butter and vanilla, not peanut butter and chocolate.
Okay.
But I'll eat Reese's. So it's just the ice cream that I'm like, I don't care for chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah, specific.
Okay. Switching gears, what was your first exposure to opera in your life?
Oh, so the first show that I ever saw was La Boheme. I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
My music class at my elementary school, they were doing a production. I'm pretty confident it was at Syracuse Opera, actually. They took us there on a bus. I don't remember really anything about the show. I remember that I wore a t-shirt that had Velcro on the front so you could like make words and phrases. And so, yeah, this is my life, like peak nerddom. I put opera rocks with an X, ROX. Yeah. Oh yeah, saw the show. I don't remember anything about it except the fact that like they were in like eating like croissants and somebody died and it snowed. Like that's all I remember about that show. I mean, now I know more.
I mean, that's actually the plot that you just.
That's the whole plot of the show.
Croissants, death, snow, and your fashion.
Somebody's in love one day.
Opera rocks. Yeah.
Opera rocks.
Yeah, great. I hope that T-shirt still exists. If it doesn't, please replicate it immediately.
Yeah, you're gonna see me come to the next time I see you, and I'm gonna find this thing on like eBay and make it or whatever. And
I'm ready. Yeah.
Why not?
I will be disappointed if.
Okay. All right, your next show that I get to go to, I'll wear it.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, you can have a weekend away with any 3 people who have ever lived.
Any 3 people who have never lived, like opera?
No, ever. They've lived.
Oh, they have lived? Oh,
they're
gosh.
Alive at one point. 3 people, any of them. You get to have dinners, lunches, breakfasts, and, walks on the beach.
Okay.
Philosophical discussions.
Okay. My first pick is gonna be Jamie Barton, just because she and I are good friends, and like I've covered her in the 70 million things, and she would just be a hoot. Like I feel like I would have a blast.
She's great.
So I feel like Jamie's got to be one.
Yep.
Who are my other ones? I feel like. Oh, this is such a hard question. Oh my goodness. I need like. Can I have parameters so they are alive?
They don't have to be. They could. They were alive at one point. It could be Shakespeare. It could be Mozart. It could be, Dame Judi Dench. It could be anybody. Beyonce, Rihanna.
Ooh, that was good. Can I take? I'm gonna take Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Because she's just she's such a great leader, especially for like females, and I really enjoy everything that she's done for her industry and then over keeping going. So I think she would be number 2. And then I don't know, like not to be like sappy and kind of gross, but like my dad maybe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jamie, Emma, and your dad.
Why not? That would be hilarious, actually. I feel like it would be very confusing. My dad would be very confused.
The party, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I would love that.
All right, 2 more questions for you, and they're kind of simple. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. You can go back in time to any moment in your entire life and tell your younger self in that moment one thing. What is it?
I think I would tell myself to trust myself.
Mm.
I, spent a lot of my younger career as a musician, and I mean, like I said, I'm young still, but like back when I was in undergrad and grad school, and even going into AD and my time at HGO, I spent so much of my time trying to be what everybody wanted me to be, instead of taking what they have to say, filtering it to what is true to me, and then moving forward. And I feel like I not wasted time, but I feel like I lost a bit of time and a little bit of the progress that I could have made earlier if I would have just said, this is me as an artist. This is what I bring to the table. These are the things that I want to do, and I want to take what you have to say into consideration. But at the end of the day, I am the artist. Like,
You get to decide.
I have to be the one that goes on the stage and does the thing. And I think I didn't really listen to myself for a long time for the first chunk of my like young artist career. So I would say that.
Yeah, well, it's hard when you have a lot of opinions flying at you also, and from influential people. So
Yes, well, especially when you have, I was very lucky. The 99% of the people that I've worked with have been amazing people, and so you have seen the careers that they've had, you've seen the people they've worked with, you've seen the influence they've had on our industry, and you want to follow what they say because they've done it.
Yeah.
And so that it can be very hard to not gel with something that they say, but so yeah, I think that maybe that's what I would say.
Love it. All right, the final question is, what is the meaning of life?
I think that's so funny. The answer that popped into my head was that one movie quote, like 42 or whatever it is. But I think the meaning of life is to connect to others.
Yeah.
And whatever level that is, whether that's for me on stage connecting with the audience, or for me connecting with my colleagues, or connecting with my loved ones, or whoever that is, I think it's very hard to have a really amazingly fulfilled life without connection to other people.
Beautiful.
So I would say that would be it.
I love it. Well, it was lovely to connect with you today.
Well, anytime,
Always a pleasure. And how many more performances?
2 more performances. We have one tomorrow, from when this is being taped, Wednesday, the 15th, and then we have one on Saturday night, which is the 18th. Both of them are very close to sold out.
Yes.
So this past Sunday, this matinee was completely sold out. So we're hoping to get at least one more. So 2 more, and then I get to go back home.
Wonderful. Well, I hope it's the remainder of the run is triumphant, and congratulations on your Wagnerian and main stage debut at Dallas Opera.
Thank you. And all the love to you and yours, of course.
Thank you.
That's all for today's episode. Puppies and rainbows till we meet again.